You've watched hundreds of videos, read dozens of books, tried every technique, and you're still searching, still waiting for the one insight that will finally fix everything, the one teacher who will finally explain it, the one method that will finally work. Here's what no one's told you. The reason nothing has worked isn't because you haven't found the right answer yet. It's because you've been asking the wrong question. Carl Jung spent 60 years working with patients who were trapped in the same loop you're in right now. Endless searching, endless suffering, endless hoping that the next breakthrough would be the one that sticks. And he discovered something that made most of his patients angry when he first said it. The thing you're looking for, you're the one hiding it from yourself. Not metaphorically, not spiritually, mechanically. Your unconscious mind is running programs right now, patterns laid down years ago, maybe decades ago, that are creating the exact life you're trying to escape. And until you see those programs, until you make them conscious, you'll keep searching forever, because you can't find externally what you're blocking internally. This video isn't going to give you another technique, another framework, another thing to try. This video is going to show you why you're still searching. And if you really see it, if this lands in your bones, not just your intellect, the search itself might finally end. Not because you found the answer, but because you realized why you've been looking in the wrong place. Here's the part Jung discovered that most people refuse to accept. Your life is not happening to you. Your life is happening from you. Every person who shows up, every situation that repeats, every obstacle that won't move, they're not random. They're not bad luck. They're not the universe testing you. They're your unconscious showing you what you refuse to see about yourself. Jung called this projection, but that word has been watered down so much it's lost its power. So let me say it differently. The people who irritate you are wearing your face. The situations that trigger you are revealing your wounds. The patterns that repeat are your psyche screaming a message you keep ignoring. One of Jung's patients came to him convinced that everyone in her life was trying to control her. Her husband micromanaged everything. Her boss was domineering. Even her friends seemed to have opinions about how she should live. She felt trapped, suffocated, like the entire world was conspiring to take away her freedom. Jung listened for months, and then he asked her one question that changed everything. What part of yourself are you trying to control so desperately that you need everyone else to be the controller instead? She was stunned, offended. She left therapy for 3 weeks. But when she came back, she was different, because she'd finally seen it. She was the one trying to control everything, her emotions, her image, her outcomes. Her entire life was built on maintaining a perfect facade of having it all together, but she couldn't admit that to herself, because needing control felt weak, needing certainty felt pathetic. So her unconscious did something ingenious. It projected that need onto everyone around her, made them the controllers, made them the ones who needed everything to be a certain way. That way, she could fight against them instead of facing what was actually happening inside her. The moment she saw this, the moment she owned her own need for control, every controlling person in her life suddenly wasn't controlling anymore. Not because they changed, because she stopped projecting onto them. She withdrew the film, and the characters on the screen disappeared. This is how projection works, and it's operating in your life right now, whether you see it or not. That person you can't stand? Look closer. What quality in them are you denying in yourself? That situation that keeps repeating? Look deeper. What are you refusing to learn? That feeling you can't shake? Look inward. What part of yourself have you exiled into the shadows? Jung was blunt about this. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But most people never make that turn. They spend their entire lives fighting with mirrors, trying to change the reflection instead of turning around to see what's casting it. Here's why your patterns keep repeating. You have complexes. Psychological knots tied by experiences you never fully processed, usually from childhood, but not always. These complexes are like autonomous programs running in the background of your psyche. They have their own logic, their own triggers, their own way of hijacking your behavior without you noticing. And here's the critical part. Jung discovered, complexes don't just influence your reactions, they create your reality. The abandonment complex doesn't just make you sensitive to abandonment, it manufactures situations where abandonment happens. The unworthiness complex doesn't just make you feel unworthy, it constructs circumstances that prove you're unworthy. The betrayal complex doesn't just make you afraid of betrayal, it ensures betrayal happens, over and over, with different people in different contexts, until you finally turn around and see the pattern. Jung documented a woman who had been in 7 serious relationships, 7 completely different men, different personalities, different backgrounds, different everything, and yet every single relationship ended the same way. She discovered they were lying to her, hiding something, betraying her trust in some fundamental way. She came to Jung convinced that she was cursed, that she had some kind of radar for dishonest men, that the universe kept sending her liars to teach her some cruel lesson. Jung showed her something else entirely. The problem wasn't the men. The men were different every time. The problem was her unconscious. She carried a complex around betrayal, rooted in a father who lied to her mother throughout her childhood. That complex didn't just make her afraid of betrayal, it made her test for it, unconsciously. She would push boundaries in subtle ways, ask questions designed to catch inconsistencies, create situations where the truth would have to come out. And then, when it did, when the man finally lied, even about something small, her complex had the proof it needed. See? Everyone betrays you, just like your father. The complex was creating the evidence to confirm its own existence. This is the trap. Complexes are self-fulfilling prophecies. They don't just interpret reality, they construct it. And you can't break a pattern you can't see. Jung's patient spent 2 years in analysis, 2 years of recognizing every time her complex activated, every time she tested for betrayal, every time she unconsciously pushed someone to lie so she could prove her worldview correct. And slowly the pattern broke, not because she forced it, not because she worked harder at picking better men, but because she became conscious of the program that was running. Consciousness dissolved the complex, not immediately, not easily, but inevitably. This is what Jung meant when he said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." You don't have bad luck. You have unconscious patterns creating the same outcomes with different props. And the moment you see the pattern clearly, the moment you can say, "There's my abandonment complex activating," instead of, "Why does everyone always leave me?" You're no longer possessed by it. You're witnessing it. And witness is freedom. Here's why you're still watching videos like this one. Here's why you've read all the books, tried all the techniques, followed all the teachers, and you're still searching. It's not because you haven't found the right answer yet. It's because you're asking the wrong person. Every time you look for wisdom outside yourself, every time you seek validation from a teacher, every time you wait for someone to tell you what you already know, you're repeating the original wound. The wound that made you believe your own knowing isn't enough. Jung saw this pattern constantly. Patients would come to him projecting the archetype of the wise old man onto him. They would listen to their own insights as if Jung had said them. They would discover their own truths and credit him with the discovery. And Jung's job, his only real job, was to help them see what they were doing. That insight you think came from me? It came from you. I just reflected it back so you could hear it. This is what's happening right now as you watch this video. If something I'm saying resonates, if something lands, if something feels true, it's not because I'm giving you new information. It's because I'm triggering recognition of something you already know, but have been trained to doubt. The guru you're seeking is you. The wisdom you're chasing is yours. The answer you've been hunting your entire life has been waiting patiently inside you, obscured only by your certainty that it must be somewhere else. Jung was explicit about this. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, not to find yourself, not to discover yourself, to become what you already are beneath all the conditioning, all the wounds, all the complexes, all the projections. The search is a distraction, a way of avoiding the one thing you actually need to do. Turn around. Stop looking out there. Start looking in here. But here's why that's terrifying. If you turn inward and actually see what's there, if you face your shadow, your complexes, your denied parts, you can't keep blaming the world anymore. You can't keep saying, if only I found the right relationship, the right job, the right city, the right teacher, then I'd finally be happy. You have to admit, the thing blocking your happiness is you, not the you that you show the world. The you that you've hidden in the basement of your psyche, the angry you, the selfish you, the weak you, the needy you, the parts you've spent your entire life pretending don't exist. Jung called this the shadow, and he said something that most people refuse to accept. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. You don't transcend your shadow. You integrate it. You don't rise above your wounds. You turn toward them. You don't find the answer out there. You stop running from the answer in here. And the moment you do, the moment you stop searching and start seeing, everything shifts. Not because the world changes, because you stop projecting your inner chaos onto it. Here's what Jung discovered about the people who actually stopped suffering. They didn't fix their problems. They changed their relationship to their problems. There's a crucial distinction Jung made that most people miss. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your complexes. You are not your shadow. You are the awareness in which all of these arise. Jung called this the self with a capital S, not the ego, not the personality, not the character you play in your own life story. The self is the witness, the consciousness that observes everything without being touched by any of it. When you identify with your ego, when you think you are your thoughts, your emotions, your problems, everything feels personal. Every criticism is an attack on you. Every failure is proof you're not enough. Every problem is a threat to your survival. The ego is fragile because it's not real. It's a construction, a useful fiction that helps you navigate the world. But when you shift identification to the self, when you recognize yourself as the awareness in which the ego appears, something radical happens. You stop being the one drowning. You become the ocean in which drowning happens. You're no longer the one suffering. You're the space in which suffering arises. This isn't dissociation. This isn't detachment. This isn't spiritual bypassing. This is the natural state every wisdom tradition points toward, the witness that remains when everything else falls away. Jung saw this transformation in his patients who achieved what he called individuation. They didn't become perfect. They didn't transcend their humanity. They didn't stop having problems, but they stopped being consumed by their problems. They could say, I notice anxiety arising instead of, I am anxious. I notice the abandonment complex activating instead of, everyone always leaves me. I notice my shadow projecting onto this person instead of, this person is terrible. That shift from identification to observation is the shift that ends suffering, not because the suffering disappears, but because you're no longer drowning in it. You're holding it, witnessing it, allowing it to move through the space that you are. And when you can do that, the compulsive search finally ends, because you're no longer looking for someone to save you. You've recognized that the one who needs saving and the one who can save are the same person. So here's why this might be the last video you ever need to watch. Not because I've given you the ultimate answer, but because I've shown you where the answer has always been. Every video you've watched, every book you've read, every teacher you followed, you weren't receiving wisdom from them. You were projecting your own inner wisdom onto them so you could hear it. The teacher is a mirror. The book is a screen. This video is a surface onto which you're casting your own knowing. And if you really see that, if you recognize that everything you've been searching for has been inside you the entire time, then the search ends. Not because you found what you were looking for, but because you realized you were never actually lost. You were just convinced you were. Your unconscious has been trying to wake you up your entire life. Every pattern that repeated, every person who triggered you, every crisis that forced you to your knees, they weren't obstacles. They were invitations. Invitations to stop looking out there and start looking in here. To stop fighting with your reflection and turn around to see what's casting it. To stop searching for the answer and recognize that you are the answer. This is what Jung meant by individuation, becoming who you truly are, not by adding something, but by removing everything that isn't you, the masks, the projections, the complexes, the false selves built to survive a world that couldn't handle the real you. When all of that falls away, what remains? The self, the witness, the awareness that was never born and can never die. The you that has been here the entire time, waiting patiently for you to stop searching and finally see. This might be the last video you need to watch, not because it contains the ultimate truth, but because it points you back to the only place the truth has ever been. Inside you, always inside you, waiting for you to stop running and finally come home. So here's the practice. Stop asking, what do I need to learn? Start asking, what am I refusing to see? That pattern that keeps repeating. It's showing you a complex that needs integration. That person who triggers you. They're showing you a shadow that needs acknowledgement. That feeling you can't shake. It's showing you something exiled that needs to come home. Your life is not your enemy. Your life is your teacher. And the lesson has always been the same. Turn inward. Make the unconscious conscious. Integrate what you've rejected. That's it. That's the whole teaching. Everything else is commentary. If this landed, if something shifted, comment below. What have you been refusing to see? Be honest. That honesty is the first step toward consciousness. Subscribe for more of Jung's teachings about the unconscious patterns running your life and how to finally see them clearly. This might be the last video you need to watch, or it might be the first video that actually points you in the right direction. Either way, the answer isn't in the next video. It's in you. It's always been in you.